Hey everyone and welcome back to the show. Today we're taking a close look at one of the big names in the Indian financial services space. HDFC Asset Management Company Limited or HDFC AMC.
That's right. HDFC AMC is a major player primarily focused on managing mutual funds. They also handle alternative investment funds and offer portfolio management and advisory services. They even have a subsidiary, HDFC AMC International IFSC Limited, operating out of the International Financial Services Center. So a significant entity in asset management.
Definitely. And they've just released their results. So let's get into the context. We're looking at the audited financial results for the quarter and the full financial year ended March 31st, 2025. The Board of Directors approved these results in their meeting held on April 17, 2025. We'll be covering both the standalone and the consolidated figures today.
Okay, sounds good. Let's kick off with the key financials, starting with the standalone results for HDFC AMC itself.
How did they fare on the top line, the revenue?
Looking at the standalone figures, for the fourth quarter ended March 31st, 2025, revenue from operations came in at 901.22 crore rupees. That's a solid jump compared to the 695.43 crore rupees they reported in the same quarter last year.
That's quite a healthy increase year over year for the quarter. How about the full year?
For the full financial year 2025, standalone revenue from operations was 3,498.03 crore rupees. Again, a strong performance compared to the 2,584.37 crore rupees in the previous financial year.
Okay, revenue looks strong. What about profitability? Let's talk profit before tax or PBT.
Right. Standalone PBT for Q4 FY25 stood at 835.34 crore rupees, up nicely from 679.09 crore rupees in Q4 FY24. For the full year FY25, standalone PBT reached 3,286.44 crore rupees compared to 2,478.19 crore rupees in FY24. So profitability is also showing very good growth.
And the bottom line, the profit after tax or PAT?
Standalone PAT for Q4 FY25 was 638.73 crore rupees, significantly higher than the 541.09 crore rupees in the prior year's quarter. For the full year FY25, standalone PAT came in at 2,461.05 crore rupees, a substantial increase from the 1,945.88 crore rupees in FY24.
Wow, those are impressive growth numbers across the board on the standalone side. Now let's look at the consolidated picture, which includes their subsidiary. How do those numbers compare?
Interestingly, the consolidated figures are very close to the standalone ones. Consolidated revenue from operations for Q4 FY25 was 901.36 crore rupees, and for the full year it was 3,498.44 crore rupees.
Almost identical to standalone. What about consolidated PBT and PAT?
Same story there. Consolidated PBT for Q4 FY25 was 835.07 crore rupees, and for the full year 3,285.58 crore rupees. Consolidated PAT for Q4 FY25 was 638.46 crore rupees, and for the full year 2,460.19 crore rupees.
Okay, so the subsidiary HDFC AMC International IFSC Limited seems to have a very minimal impact on the overall financials at this stage.
Exactly. The core business of HDFC AMC dominates the consolidated picture. It's also worth noting the other income. On a consolidated basis for the full year FY25, this was significant at 561.66 crore rupees, slightly up from 579.02 crore rupees the previous year. This likely includes gains on their investments, which is typical for an AMC.
And what about the earnings per share, the EPS? That's usually based on consolidated numbers.
Right. For the full year FY25, the consolidated basic EPS was 115.16 rupees, up from 91.00 rupees in FY24. The diluted EPS was 114.75 rupees compared to 90.89 rupees last year. So a healthy increase in earnings per share as well.
Good to see. Now looking at profitability margins, given the strong PAT figures, how do they look?
They look exceptionally strong. If we calculate the net profit margin for the full year using consolidated figures, that's PAT divided by revenue from operations, we get roughly 70.3%. That's 2,460.19 crore rupees divided by 3,498.44 crore rupees. That's a very high margin, reflecting the nature and scale of their asset management business. The standalone margin is virtually identical.
70% net margin is indeed impressive. Were there any exceptional items reported in either the standalone or consolidated results that might be skewing these figures?
No, looking through the statements, there were no items classified as exceptional items during the quarter or the year ended March 31, 2025. This suggests the strong profit figures are coming from their regular business operations, which is a positive sign.
Okay, cleaner results then. Let's touch upon the balance sheet. Any key takeaways from the assets and liability side, comparing standalone and consolidated?
Again, the standalone and consolidated balance sheets are very similar. As of March 31, 2025, consolidated total assets stood at 8,750.66 crore rupees, up from 7,553.85 crore rupees the previous year. A large chunk of this is financial assets, particularly investments, which were around 8,254.84 crore rupees on a consolidated basis. Total equity also grew substantially to 8,129.99 crore rupees on a consolidated basis, up from 7,075.01 crore rupees. Goodwill remained constant at 6.04 crore rupees. Overall, a very healthy balance sheet with strong equity growth.
How about cash flows? Any highlights there? And did they mention dividends?
Yes, the consolidated cash flow statement shows strong performance too. Net cash generated from operating activities for FY25 was a robust 2,074.80 crore rupees, up from 1,614.69 crore rupees in FY24.
And dividends? That's always key for shareholders.
Absolutely. The company has a strong track record here. During FY25, they paid out significant dividends. The cash flow statement shows a large outflow for dividends paid, which includes the interim dividend for FY24 paid during FY25, amounting to 1,495.05 crore rupees, and the final dividend for FY23 paid during FY24, which was 1,024.65 crore rupees. More importantly, for the year ended March 31, 2025, the board has recommended a final dividend of 90 rupees per equity share, which has a face value of 5 rupees each. This is of course subject to shareholder approval at the upcoming annual general meeting.
90 rupees per share final dividend proposed, that sounds quite substantial. Okay, moving on, how about segment performance? Did they break down the results by different business lines?
This is an important point. According to Note 7, in both the standalone and consolidated results, the company and the group are primarily in the business of providing asset management services, managing funds, and portfolio management. They state that accordingly, there are no separate reportable segments as per the relevant Indian accounting standard Ind AS 108.
Okay. So we can't analyze different segments like mutual funds versus alternative investments separately based on this report. It's all viewed as one core business.
Correct. The results reflect the overall asset management business performance.
Understood. So summarizing the performance year over year, it looks like strong growth across revenue and profits for both standalone and consolidated views, with very high profitability margins.
Exactly. Consistent growth, very healthy margins, and a robust operational performance reflected in the cash flows.
Were there any other significant notes or events mentioned in the report or the board meeting outcome that investors should be aware of?
Yes, a few key things. First, as we mentioned, the hefty final dividend recommendation of 90 rupees per share. Also, Note 5 clarifies that the interim dividend of 70 rupees per share for FY24 was approved and paid during FY25, replacing the previously proposed final dividend for that year. Second, there's activity around employee stock options or ESOPs. The board approved a new ESOPN PSU scheme 2025, which involves setting aside 25 lakh equity shares for future grants of options and performance-linked stock units, PSUs. Annexure B provides details like vesting schedules. Options vest progressively over 4 years, while PSUs vest in years 3 and 4, subject to performance criteria. This new scheme requires shareholder and regulatory approvals. Third, related to ESOPs, the company also approved the cancellation of about 8.73 lakh ungranted options under the older ESOS 2020 scheme, effective April 17, 2025. No fresh grants will be made under the old scheme, but existing grants will continue until exercised or lapsed. Fourth, Note 6 explains a change impacting deferred tax liability. Due to the Finance Act 2024 enacted in August 2024, changes in capital gains tax rates and the withdrawal of indexation benefits led to an increase in the company's deferred tax liability by 69.75 crore rupees, which impacted the profit after tax for the quarter ended September 30, 2024.
Okay, those are important details, especially the dividend and the new ESOP scheme structure. Now, a critical check: the auditor's report. Who audited the results and what was their opinion?
Both the standalone and the consolidated financial results were audited by BSR and Company, LLP, Chartered Accountants. And this is very important. For both sets of results, standalone and consolidated, the auditors issued an unmodified opinion.
Unmodified? So that means a clean report, right? No qualifications or adverse remarks?
Exactly. An unmodified opinion means the auditors believe the financial statements present a true and fair view in accordance with the applicable accounting standards. This provides significant assurance about the reliability of the financial results we've been discussing.
That's excellent news for the company and its investors. So putting it all together, what's the outlook and what are the potential risks?
Disclaimer first, we advise investors to check with certified experts before making any investment decisions. Based on these results, the outlook appears positive. HDFC AMC has demonstrated strong growth in both revenue and profits, maintains very high profitability, and has a clean auditor's report. The significant dividend payout also signals confidence. Key drivers will continue to be the growth of the Indian capital markets, inflows into mutual funds, and the company's ability to maintain its market share and performance. Risks, as always in this sector, include market volatility affecting assets under management or AUM, increased competition from other asset managers, including fintech players, potential changes in regulations governing mutual funds, like expense ratios, and general economic conditions impacting investor sentiment.
Makes sense. So to wrap up our discussion on HDFC AMC's Q4 and FY25 results,
the key takeaways are strong year-over-year growth in revenue and profits, both quarterly and annually. Extremely healthy profitability margins. Consolidated results very similar to standalone, indicating the core AMC business is the main driver. A significant final dividend of 90 rupees per share has been proposed. New ESOP scheme approved, indicating focus on employee retention and performance linkage. And critically, clean unmodified audit reports for both standalone and consolidated financials from BSR and Company, LLP. The only nuance is the lack of segment-wise reporting, as it's considered one core business.
A very comprehensive picture. Thanks for breaking that down.
My pleasure.
And thanks to everyone for tuning in. If you found this analysis helpful, do like, share and subscribe for more financial insights.